So I am cooking soup today. It's my family's favorite apple and pear soup, which is very good for symptomatic dry throat in a very hot weather. And when you have dry throat, when you are feeling that you have some itchiness in the throat and you feel like the cough is coming, or you just simply feel very dehydrated, this soup is always helpful in my family, and I thought I would just share it with you. So what I prepared here is I will have 1 liter of water. So this is good enough for 4 persons soup. It always depends on how much soup intake your family is taking. So in my family, I like to cook like 2 pears and 2 apples and 2 dried figs and some bitter almond and sweet almond together with some red dates. And it's as simple as this. It is it's my family's favorite. So this is how I do it. I am cooking it in a 20 centimeter AMC 20 centimeter 4 liter pot. And I will be covering the pot to cook it under pressure with the AMC Secuquick Lid. This is a 20 centimeter AMC Secuquick Lid on the Navigenio, and I'll be doing this fully automatically. So this is how I'm doing. Just clean them really well as we are going to cook the skin together in the soup. Just cut it into wedges and that'll be fine. Just rinse all the other ingredients under running water and pour it into the pot. This is an AMC 20 centimeter pot with 4 liter capacity. I've added 1 liter of water. So when we are cooking soup, the reason why our soup is nice and thick, it has that very intense taste, is because we have cooked them long enough. That is the traditional way of cooking soup. So when we have cooked them long enough, all these tastes from the ingredients will actually leach into the liquid of our soup, hence why our soup is nice. Now when we are cooking with our AMC cooking system, when we cook with our AMC Secuquick Lid, what we are doing here is really to break down all the molecule of our ingredients, to breaking down all the molecules. In other words, it means that we are bringing all our ingredients to a very soft texture. When it has broken down the molecule in each and every piece of our ingredients, the taste within that piece of ingredient will actually leach into the liquid a lot easier when we do that. Alright, so when we cook with our AMC Secuquick Lid, to bring all of these ingredients to a very soft texture, what we do is we will merely cook them for 10 minutes. Alright, so this is what we're doing. We are cooking automatically. So we turn on our Navigenio to the A mode and hook this up and set it to cook on turbo setting for 10 minutes. So when I'm cooking for 10 minutes, in a very traditional or conventional way of cooking, normally 10 minutes is insufficient to bring all the taste into the liquid when we are cooking soup, alright? Because this ingredient inside, we need to cook it for a longer time. But with the AMC cooking system, coupled with our AMC Secuquick Lid, we do not have to cook it for such a long time. We can just cook it for a mere 10 minutes. This is simmering time of 10 minutes. So what the system is doing is that it will cook this pot of soup, bring it up to the temperature, to the boiling temperature that is good for simmering. Alright, so basically we do not have to turn on high heat or low heat. We do not have to adjust the heat ourselves. The system will take care of itself. So this is an AMC Secuquick Lid where it is cooking rapidly. That means it is going to cook this pot of soup like in a very fast manner, and we shall see how the soup looks like a little later. Now we are halfway cooking and boiling our soup, and at this point I do not have to come back and check on the heat and everything, but because I'm doing this video, so I'm showing you how the Navigenio works. So can you see that there's very hot red flame that is coming on the Navigenio? That basically means that Navigenio is now on very high heat, because it is now tasked to bring the whole pot of soup and all the ingredients to boil, and to the extent where there's a lot of steam that is coming up to 120 degrees Celsius within the pot. So what the Audiotherm is doing here is basically it is indicating that the temperature is going up here. Can you see that there's steam started to come up on the side of the pot? Can you see that? On the side of the pot, there's a valve for all the steam to escape if the pot ever gets too hot. So this whole system is basically adjusting itself. We do not have to tweak the temperature. Did you hear that? That was just a sound to lock this lid on the pot, and all of this is controlled automatically. I did not adjust the heat. It is all on automatic mode on the Navigenio, and temperature continues to creep up. When the temperature has gone up to the turbo window, which is the temperature that we want it to start reducing heat, the time will start to elapse. Alright, so this whole process of boiling, of putting on high heat, low heat, and up to the simmering stage, we can just leave it to the system. The system is taking care of it for us, and hence when we are cooking, we can just stay away from the kitchen. We do not have to keep coming back to check on our cooking. This is very helpful as it is so easy, it is so convenient that we do not have to tweak the heat high and low, and when we do not have to do that, it makes cooking a lot easier. It is not just a matter of turning high and low heat. It is something that is so important that we must control the heat properly, because when we use excessive heat, it is destroying the nutrients in our food ingredients. As our soup evaporate, we are losing all of that goodness when we are cooking soup, right? So the heat control is very, very important. If we are doing this manually, we will need to know when to turn on higher heat and when to turn on lower heat, so that the heat within the pot is just nice for the simmering process to continue on. So with our AMC cooking system, when heat control is taken care of automatically, this is when we are able to optimize all the nutrients concentration in our cooking, be it soup or other stew or other cooking. Right? So as you observe here, when the temperature has creeped up to the window, the turbo window that we have set it to, time started to elapse. From 10 minutes setting, it is now 9 minutes, and our soup will be ready, cooking will be ready in about 9 minutes time now. So this is the beeping sound that we will hear from the Audiotherm when cooking time has fully elapsed and when our soup is ready. So we turn this off, and we turn our Navigenio off. In the case when we have forgotten, let's say we have overlooked and we did not come back to the cooking system to turn it off, what will happen is that the system will actually keep your soup warm for 1 hour, 60 minutes at a temperature of 60 degrees Celsius. So you can imagine it's a very safe system. Even if you have forgotten to turn off the heat, of course when we are cooking soup with a lot of liquid, we can actually leave it for 1 hour, alright? If you are cooking, let's say, green leafy vegetables, it is not right to be leaving it for 60 minutes or 1 hour to keep warm. Otherwise, our vegetables, which is very much heat sensitive, will lose all of its, or most of its nutrients, I would say. So this soup cooking here is now done. We can remove our Audiotherm and ready for another dish, to cook another dish. And our Secuquick Lid is very much secured here now that we cannot open up our Secuquick Lid, because there is still a lot of pressure that is built up from the vapor of our soup, our liquid soup. Alright, there's still a lot of vapor in it. So what we are going to do is we will wait for the vapor to pressure to actually cool down a little bit, and this will probably take about 10 minutes for it to come down, 10 to 15 minutes, alright, depending on how much liquid or how much ingredients you have within the pot. Alright, so in this one, if I want it to cook and the handle is not hot, you see I have cooked this for more than 1 hour already, and the handle is not hot because there is a thermal block blocking the heat from being transferred to the handlebar when we are cooking automatically. So if I want the pot to cool faster, what I do is I'll just transfer this whole pot to a tripod on the side, and the reason why I'm doing this is because the Navigenio is pretty much still hot. You see the red light here blinking, that means the Navigenio is still hot. This light is blinking for safety reasons, so that you do not put your hand onto it, or if you have any kids or elderly whom are less sensitive to this in the kitchen, you can always remind them when you see a red blinking light, do not come close to the stove, alright, because this is still hot. There's still a lot of residual heat, the heat remaining from our cooking earlier, alright. So this is the pot of soup. We're going to leave this aside so that it cools down a little faster. I'll show you the soup later. Now 10 minutes has passed, and let's check on our soup now. We can see, observe this, the red indicator. There are two red indicators, the one on the left side. If this red indicator has fallen before this blue window over here, that means the pressure built up in the pot has now cooled down, and we shall be able to open up the pot lid without a problem. Okay, so we unlock this. We can unlock this easily now. After we unlock, what we do is we can just open up. Alright, open up. This is how our soup looks like after we cook it for just a mere 10 minutes simmering. And you can see that the ingredients look like it is in its whole. The outlook of these ingredients are still very much in place, very much in its whole. They look whole, but they are actually very, very soft. You can see how soft this is. Just a light press, it becomes very, very, very mushy. And this is how how soft our ingredients are. Right? So when our ingredients are very soft, when it's cooked to this kind of tenderness, the taste can leach into the liquid very easily. And this is why when we cook with our AMC cooking system, we are able to cook it fast without losing so much of our nutrients in the food ingredients, and it becomes very tasty when we do not overcook. And when we are cooking with our AMC cooking system, it is helping us to control the temperature and the time automatically. Hence, we do not have to worry so much about our cooking skill, which may affect the nutrients in our food that we cook. Alright, so this is how it looks like. It is very nice and very intense in its flavor.